Scripture word from the Lord from Proverbs, the 3rd chapter from the New Living Translation Bible, beginning with the first verse talking about trusting in the Lord. My child, never forget the things I have taught you. Store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you will live many years, and your life will be satisfied. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you will find favor with both God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will and in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Then you will have healing for your body and strength for your bones. Trusting in the Lord. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearers, and doers of his most holy word. May we pray. Eternal God, our Father in heaven, the maker and creator of both heaven and earth. It is once again a few of your handmaid servants have come before you with humble hearts and bowed heads, realizing that you are God, and beside thee there is none other. We come realizing that you are the leader and that you know the way. And as we come, we're not coming for form or fashion, but we come because we stand in the need of prayer. And we need you in time like these. We come, our Father in heaven, realizing that you brought us every step of the way.
Yes.
Even when we weren't able to bring ourselves.
Yes.
You've been good to us.
So good.
You're good right now.
Yes.
You look down on heaven roll book this morning and allowed our golden moments to roll on just to look while longer.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
for
sir.
that, we said thank you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you for watching over us last night while we
Yes.
slumbered and slept.
Yes.
For dispatching angels around our bedside to keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger, and waking us to another day. We thank you, our Father, for being a good God.
Right. Good God.
One who
Yes.
sits high and look low.
Yes, sir.
See
Yes,
all
sir.
we do and hear all we say.
Yes.
Now as we come, we ask that you bless the man that's going to preach your word this morning.
Please, our
Give
Father.
him preaching power from on high.
Yes, Lord.
That your word may go forth and not come back void. That it would touch hearts, souls, and minds everywhere. That somebody would come running saying, what must I do to be saved?
Yes.
We're asking for healing power upon all our sick and shut-in.
Please.
We're asking for a special blessing for our pastor, George Lewis Robinson Jr.
Yes,
Bless
God.
him and
God.
his family, Holy Father. Take care of them like only you can.
Only you can.
Don't turn your back on us, but lead and guide us every step of the way.
Every step.
We love you this morning. We adore you. We magnify you. We glorify you. We give you all the honor, glory, and praise because truly you're worthy of the highest of praise. Thank you for loving us like only you can. In spite of our shortcomings, our wrongdoings, our wrong thoughts, saying you still look beyond our faults
Yes.
and supplied our needs.
Thank you,
And
God.
we say thank you.
Thank you,
Now
God.
have mercy upon us all. Continue to bless this your church. Bless the revelation that's going forth in your name.
Yes.
Bless the contractors, protect them, and bless us all like only you can.
Yes, God.
And to the end, our Father, we can see a glimpse of your glory and simply tell you thank you for it all. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, just a closer walk with me.
Come on with it, girl. Come on with it. Yeah, walk with me.
Hey, Jesus, if you please,
Just a closer walk with me.
I'm taking walking close to thee.
Just a closer
Let it be in love. Let it be.
walk with me.
I
Just a closer walk.
am weak, but thou art strong.
Just a closer walk with me. Just a closer walk with me.
Jesus, keep me from all harm. I'll be satisfied as I walk, dear Lord, walk close to thee. Just a closer walk with thee. Jesus, if you please. Take me walking close to thee. As I walk, dear Lord, walk close to thee.
Amen. 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 Giving honor to God, who's the head of our life. In the absence of our pastor, to our officers, members, and friends, I bring you good tidings from our Father. First of all, just as we stand in for our pastor, we're carrying on as he would want us to. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
We send our love, and Pastor sends his love. We're going to attempt a hymn, and then we'll move on into our sermon. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Father.
All right. All right. It's all right.
I stretch
Well,
my hand to thee.
well.
My God, yes, Let us pray. Our Father,
Yes.
it is the most powerful and matchless name of Jesus Christ we come.
Yes.
Father God, first of all, Lord, we come asking for forgiveness, Lord God, realizing that we are not perfect.
Yes. Yes.
Father God, realizing, Lord, that sometimes we stumble and fall by the wayside.
Yes.
Father God, we ask for forgiveness right now, Lord God, because we realize that sometimes we are just even contrary to your word.
Yes.
Please, oh Lord God, forgive us.
Please.
Father God, every sin committed, Father God, intentionally and unintentionally, Father God.
Yes. Yes.
Then, Lord God, we ask you right now, Father God, everyone that's under the sound of my voice. Father God, everyone that's out in, Father God, the internet right now, Father God. Lord, we ask you right now, every door that is open in your name, Lord, we ask you to bless it right now in the name of Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
Father God, we ask you right now, Lord, to bless this message, Father God. For Lord, we come searching, standing in the need. And God, we're glad that you are a supplier of our needs. So, Lord God, we just gonna thank you right now. Father God, we're gonna look past our situations, Father God. Lord, we're gonna look past our problems right now. Because God, we know that our problems might be big, but God, you are better and bigger than any problem. So, Lord God, we thank you right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Father God, there's somebody going through a bereavement period right now, Lord. But Father God, you said, Father God, that we've been made endure for the night, but you have joy, Father God. Lord, I found so much happiness, Father God, realizing that sometimes I might not have happiness, but Lord God, as long as I got joy, I got Jesus, and that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Father God, we ask you right now, Father God, be good, Father God. Lord, we ask you right now, Father God, bless right now in a mighty special way. Father God, that man, that boy, that woman, that girl that don't know you, the free parts of the sin. Father God, let them know that you're still God. Father God, social media might make us think things are not good, Lord, but Father God, we know that you are still good. Father God, we know that you still got all power in the palm of your hands. And God, because we lean not on our own understanding, but Lord, we lean on you. Father God, we ask you right now, Father God, to do what you do. Just bless right now in the most powerful, matchless name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. For his name's sake, and let us all say amen.
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 I don't know about you, my brothers and sisters, but I feel pretty good right now.
All right. All right.
I feel pretty good right now. And there is a word from the Lord.
Uh-huh.
Our text this morning will come from Luke 24. beginning at the 25th verse. Luke 24, beginning at the 25th verse. I'll be reading aloud. I ask you to follow along with me, those that are here. And we ask you all to just hear what thus says the Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Verse 25. Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ have come to suffer these things and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And when they drew nigh unto the village, whither they went, and as he had made it through, he would have gone farther, but they constrained him, saying, Abide with us. For it is towards evening, and the day is far spent. And he went into and tarried with them. And it came to pass as he sat at meat, and it came to pass as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it, and brake it, and gave it to them. And their eyes were open, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. May God have a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of his holy word.
Amen.
Just for a subject or a topic, if we had to pin one, I would like to say, have you seen Jesus?
Well,
That's all right.
Have you seen Jesus?
all
right.
Now, I found myself is, a lot of times we find ourselves that we once we come into contact with Christ, we get so caught up that once we know God's there, we begin to get laxed on God.
Amen.
And we get comfortable, and sometimes we get so much comfort in the self that we don't recognize God in his presence.
Amen. Amen.
We get so happy, we get so good that we just automatically suppose it and just automatically think sometimes that God is there.
Okay.
Amen.
I was riding to work. I started this job. I was riding to work one time, and when I was along my route, it was around Christmas time. And for Christmas they have all the decorative ornaments out, and this particular house had a big sign that said Jesus lit up. Now mind you, every night I'm going to work, or every morning I'm going to early in the morning, and I see this sign, and that sign, as I get to the stop sign, shows me Jesus just bright as all outdoors. Get a smile on my face and go on to work. It seemed like my day just went a little bit better.
All right.
Every day, 5 to 6 days a week. This person, even after Christmas passed, they left this sign on that just had Jesus lit up. So I began to, you know how we do it. After a while, I began to just know that the sign was there. I began to assume that the sign was there. Well, just like in our lives, sometimes when we begin to assume, seemed like work started getting frustration, and seemed like life was getting frustration, seemed like things was beginning to mount up, seemed like nothing wanted to go then, and I'm like, I began to ride, and one day I noticed I didn't see Jesus lighting up no more. So I was like, maybe they decided to cut it off. Alabama Power was pretty high. I imagine, this round March, they had left it lit all those extra months. So maybe they just cut the sign off. But then I was like, that thing bothered me though, because they had it on for so long. What made them all of a sudden, so many months later, decide to take Jesus out? Well, my brothers and sisters, and this is just how I was looking at it with a spiritual eye. I began to ride through. One day I get off work. I make up in my mind, I just got to ride by this house, because I know that I seen the Jesus sign lit up. And when I began to ride up on the sign, what had happened was I seen grass had begun to rise over the sign. But the Jesus sign was still there. And for some reason, after I seen the sign, I had a little extra peace about myself.
All right.
brothers and sisters, we just like that. Sometimes we get comforted, just realize when we first run into Jesus, we are happy. And every day that we're running, we just running along with Jesus, realizing that God said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you.
Yeah.
And we just running on with Jesus. And sometimes we still forget to look to make sure Jesus is running with us, because if we begin to look with Jesus, there are some things that we need to understand.
All right. All right.
First of all, the first thing we need to understand, whether you can see him or not, he's there.
All
All
right.
right.
Come on, sister,
All right.
read it.
Amen.
The first thing is that whether you can see him or not, he is there. Well, Reverend, how can you say he's there? Because I ran over the Revelations. The Revelation said, though, in 3:20, he said, though I stand at the door and knock, if any man hears and listens and heeds my voice and opens the door, I'll come in and sup with him.
All right. Come on.
My
now.
brothers and sisters, I don't know about you, but sup with him means I'll come down and eat with you.
All right.
And in order for us, the Bible says that we are eating together. That means we are communing together. And if we're communing together, that means we are on to the same page. We are together.
Amen.
Amen.
I don't know about you, but things go good in my life when I'm together with God.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I need somebody to take self-inventory right now. If you really want to see how your life is going, if you want to see when things up, I want to check you right now and ask you, when were things going good in your life?
All
Well,
right.
See, when you are right with God, God gonna make things right with you.
amen. You're right. You're right.
I realize that, see, whether the first thing is, whether we can see him or not, he's there.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, I know for a fact he's there. Now, realize this, though, that not only is he there, sometimes, you know, this is the thing that we get caught up on. We get caught up on what we have to see God. Now, let me be real with you. Let me break this thing down. God is always there.
Amen. Amen.
He's always there.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes we do get caught up on how to seeing God. And I just told you, I got caught up in the fact that I no longer saw the sign, and I thought the sign had played a part in my day.
My God.
But I come to tell you, my brothers and sisters, whether you can see the sign lit up or not, he's still right there.
All right. You're right. You're right.
How can you say
Go
this?
ahead, Pastor.
It said, because in John 20 and 29, he says, Jesus said to him, he said, this is the thing that we have to realize, that we have to be able to believe and know that God is still there when we cannot see him, because we have to have the faith to believe it. In John 20 and 29, Jesus said to him, because you have seen me, Thomas, and do you now believe, trust, have faith, blessed and happy, to be invited, are those who have never seen me and yet believe.
My God.
My brothers and sisters, I want to let you know that it's easy to exercise our faith when we've been through something.
Yes, it is.
But our faith is really maximized when we really leaning and stepping out on the word of God.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
My brothers and sisters, so then I realized that, you know, we have to realize that first, yes, whether we can see Jesus or see him or not, he's there.
Yeah.
Amen.
But the second thing that we have to do is realize that there's a conversation that needs to take place.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Amen.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is the thing. A lot of folks will say all the time, I prayed to God, I've been talking to God, and is this not happening? That's not happening. Things are still not going the way I want them, and I'm still not getting my way and all this. I found out something that it was just a little common sense, but I realized in order to have a conversation, there has to be two ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Uh-huh.
See, when we talk to our kids, or when kids talk to us, usually when we are in our authoritative position, we dictate the conversation.
Amen.
Yeah.
So that's not really a conversation. We're really just talking to them.
Right. Right.
A lot of times, brothers and sisters, we dictate our conversation with God, and we just talk to God.
Right.
And we're not really letting God talk back through us.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
In order for it to be a conversation, he must first speak back with you as you speak to him and you're listening.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What I found out, my brothers and sisters, is that if you listen to God,
Uh-huh.
the Bible depicts that the voice comes in mighty different ways.
Amen.
The Bible depicts there's a thundering, rumbling voice. There's a loud, boisterous God.
Yes.
And then sometimes there's a still, small voice.
Uh-huh.
My brothers and sisters, what I come to tell you that is that there's a conversation that is needed and is going to have to be had.
Uh-huh.
And if you have that conversation, then you'll be able to get to your final part.
Uh-huh.
That final part, my brothers and sisters, is you'll realize that not only have I seen Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
with me everywhere I go.
All right. All right.
Found out that a lot of times we go different places,
Yeah, yeah.
so dependent upon our technology.
Yeah.
We so depend on our devices and things that'll help us navigate.
Yeah.
But I found out that sometimes those devices become undependable.
Well.
For some reason, sometimes they lose reception.
Yes.
Sometimes they have a glitch.
Yeah.
But something tends to happen sometimes where you have a loss of service.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
My brothers and sisters, I come today to let you know that once you realize that you have seen Jesus and you know that you have Jesus,
All
Yeah.
right. All
you
right.
don't have to worry about your connection no more.
All right.
For he said that no matter where you are, I am with you,
All right.
even unto the end of the earth.
All right.
Amen.
And
Amen.
if you just believe what God said, then you won't even have to worry about some things no more. I found out that once you have a conversation with God, I look back through the Bible and I see that when there's conversation with God and you are interacting with him, I realize that if you go to Jesus and tell him all about your problems,
Well.
he only had one small stipulation. He would tell them by their faith.
By their faith.
Yeah.
My brothers and sisters, I come to tell you, you have to have faith to believe in God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Believe that God will do exactly what he said he'd do. He said, I would take care of all your needs and then I would see about the desires of your heart.
Yeah.
Amen.
And if Jesus said it, I believe it.
Amen.
My brothers and sisters, I come to encourage you this morning to let you know that don't give in to what you're seeing right now. Don't give in to what you're believing right now. Just know that you might not see Jesus lit up right now. But I come to tell you, he's still right there.
Yeah.
You might not feel him like you used to feel him. But I guarantee you, he's still right there.
Right there.
Amen.
My brothers and sisters, I want to let you know that, see, he did something that made it possible to be there. He paid the ultimate price.
Yes.
He died for my sins and your sins.
Yes.
And I'm glad that the story did not end there.
Yeah.
Because see, now back to the scripture said that they was there on a road. And they was walking and they was a little bit dismayed. Because they had already just lost Jesus. I don't know about you, brothers and sisters, but sometimes I feel like I lost Jesus a little bit. I feel like life seems to get a little too heavy for me. And it seems like sometimes the troubles of this world just get a little too big. But then they tell me the two men was walking and another man began to walk with them. Sometimes we are just like these two men. We get so caught up in our situations. And while we're walking and complaining and crying about what's going on, they're talking about Jesus who had died and gone. Not realize they're talking about the Prince of Peace. They was talking right to the wonderful counselor. Not realize they was talking to the way out of no way. Not realize they were still talking to Mary's baby. So her grandson. They didn't realize who they was talking to. My brothers and sisters, I come to tell you that we need to be more vigilant in our efforts. More steadfast, realizing that God will not leave us.
Amen.
Sometimes we have to be just like the scripture. The Bible says, even though he had walked with them on the road for about 7 long miles, said that he started talking so good. The Bible says the sheep will hear the shepherd's voice and they'll know it. They didn't want him to leave when it was time for him to begin to walk a little bit further. If you just listen for that still voice of God, I promise you he's right there if you listen. Sometimes that voice might say no, and sometimes that voice might say yes. But I don't care no more what the voice says, because I know the voice got my best interest in heart. Sometimes we have to be just like the text. They tell me that it wasn't until he got back into their village, and they tell me until he began to break bread and began to bless it like he did at the Last Supper. Tell me that that's when they realized who he was. My brothers and sisters, I just need you to go to your dark place and remember that whoever brought you out, I declare it's nobody but Jesus.
Amen.
If you remember that, you will always see Jesus.
Amen.
God bless you and keep you is our prayers.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, guys. All right.
The doors of our Father house is open. There's one. We ask you, if you make one step, God will make two. If I was you, I would come right now. There may be someone out on Facebook, Instagram, somewhere that may not have seen Jesus. I tell you, here we got a good pastor. He will show it to you. We have a good church family, and they will lead you to it.
Amen.
Amen.
There may be 1, 2, 3, whoever there are, whoever you are, wherever you are. If you're looking for a church home, I tell you, once you find family, there's nothing like family. I recommend Jesus right now.
All right. All right.
The oldest says, they say, I will come right now while the blood is still running warm in my veins. For if I fail to reach heaven, it ain't nobody.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
Everywhere you go, there is trouble.
Well,
Everywhere you go, there is strife. Oh, everywhere you go, there is something that worries you. But remember, my God is standing by. Oh, everywhere you go, there is trouble. Everywhere you go, there is strife. Oh, everywhere you go, there is something that worries you. But remember, my God is standing. Oh, you know that God is standing by. Don't get the cry. God is standing near. Don't get the fear. Jesus will be right there. He's everywhere. Let me tell you, he'll roll your life miles away. And he'll heal when you pray. And he'll heal when you call. And he'll catch you before you fall. Oh, you know you're not miles away. And he'll heal when you pray. And he'll heal when you call. And he'll catch you before you fall. Oh, Jesus will be a friend. And fire to the end. But remember, my God is standing. Oh, yeah. God is standing by. Oh, keep the cry. God is standing in. Oh, keep the fear. My. Jesus will be right there. He's everywhere. Let me tell you, he'll know you're not miles away. And he'll hear you when you pray. And he'll hear you when you call. And he'll catch you before you fall. He'll roll your miles away. And he'll hear you when you pray. And he'll hear you when you call. And he'll catch you before you fall. Oh, Jesus will be a friend. It's the fire to the end. But remember, my God is standing by.
that's all I can say right now.
Amen.
Have you seen Jesus?
All right.
God is standing by.
Yeah.
He's near and he's everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he is.
Yes, sir.
Reverend CC for that message. Have you seen Jesus? If you haven't, he's not hard to find. He's not hard for you to see.
Amen.
Let me thank Sister Dorothy for that song. Oh my my goodness. My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook, Instagram, and all of the other ways that God's word reaches you. Let us continue to pray for our pastor and his family. Sister Robinson, let's pray for all our sick and shut in. Pray for our church, that God will continue to bless us like only He can. God bless you. God keep you is our prayer. And we love you very much. Thank you. Be blessed and enjoy the rest of your day.
Amen.